What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight in England. It's a rematch at 160 pounds between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn.
Take this fight again, boys, down this way.
Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also give me a thumbs up on this video if you like my content? Also, find the notification button on my channel. What this will do is inform you and notify you every time I do one of my daily live streams. Also, one more thing, we launched our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider membership. That link is pinned in the comment section below. There's 3 different levels of membership. Whichever one you choose, you gain access to our private professional betting VIP Discord. Click the link to find out more. All right, guys, rematch is upon us. Whether you want to see it or whether you don't want to see it, the first fight was exciting. It was a 12-round war. It was last April, only 7 months ago, and it seems like it was yesterday. Time truly does fly when you're having fun. We've been covering boxing every single day. This is what we do on this channel. So there is a lot of boxing this week, not just in the UK. There's a great fun top rank card in Mexico, and there's other cards sporadically around the world. But in this video, what I'm gonna do is break down the main event at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. If you would have watched the first fight, you would have saw the boys go to war for 12 rounds. It was one of these rock'em sock'em robot action-packed fights. Neither guy was gonna give, neither guy went down, and at the end of the day, it went all 12 rounds, and the unanimous decision victory was awarded to Chris Eubank Jr. We broke down that first fight, and my prediction in that fight, I picked Chris Eubank Jr., so we won money. In this fight, you're gonna have to stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over my prediction. Also, I'll be telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, in this video, what I'm gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We don't have to go that deep in this one because it's a rematch. I always talk about whenever we get these rematches back to back, you don't have to go too far. Just look at the last fight. With this fight, it's kind of a unique one considering the rivalry going back to their fathers, considering we just saw this fight go down in April. There's a couple things to keep in mind. This fight is at 160 pounds. There is, just like the first one, a rehydration clause. A couple things, if you didn't see the first one, to know going into this one. Chris Eubank Jr. is the bigger guy. He's the older guy. He's the naturally more sound boxer. Conor Benn, the younger guy, the faster guy, the more athletic guy. He's gonna be bringing that normal Conor Benn vitriol into the ring. The odds on this one are similar to the first one going into it, but when you watch that first one play out, a couple interesting things were happening in my opinion. I saw Conor Benn fighting exactly how he said he was gonna fight. He didn't take any back steps. Everything was one pace. Everything was gas. There were no breaks. What I'd like to see is some adjustments going into this fight. He's gonna have the speed advantage. I like his body work advantage in terms of how he looks in the pocket. I feel he's the more comfortable fighter in the pocket. I would like him to invest in the body way more this time around. Also, go to the body early. One more thing, do not headhunt. We saw this in the first fight. Call it emotional, call it hatred, call it what you will. I didn't think the fight IQ was quite there for Conor Benn to get the victory. I think there are multiple adjustments going into this rematch that Conor Benn can make. And if he does, I feel the odds will be better for him to come out victorious this time around. With Chris Eubank Jr., use your jab. He has the better jab, he's the bigger guy, he is the longer guy. I would not exchange as often as he did in the pocket as he did in the first fight. If I were Chris Eubank, I would use the ring. I would fight a little bit smarter. I would force Conor to come to you and make Conor fight at your range. Another 12-round affair, I feel, is going to favor the younger guy. When I talked about that this fight is only 7 months onward from the first one, it might sound like that's a lot of time for recovery, but guys, Chris Eubank Jr. is almost 37 years old. Recovery is a key point here. This is another 12-round fight, and both guys took a lot of damage. Now, when you think about all the volume, all the headshots, all the output that both guys landed on each other, 7 months isn't that long of a time to recover from and hopefully go into a rematch 100%. These questions will be answered. We'll know off the bat if Chris Eubank Jr. aged overnight, and we'll also know if Conor Benn has made any of those aforementioned adjustments. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at Conor Benn and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Conor Benn is 23-1. Of his 23 wins, 14 of them come by way of knockout. Of his 1 loss, it was on points. Out of 2,326 fighters in the world at 154 pounds, he's ranked number 15. Remember, this fight is at 160. He's fought a career total of 118 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 61% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the Destroyer, and the 29-year-old Brit is a 5'8" orthodox fighter. He was born in Essex, United Kingdom, but calls Ilford, Essex, United Kingdom home. We last saw him fight Chris Eubank Jr. the first time, 34-3, lost a decision in the 12th. Pete Dobson, 16-0, won a UD in the 12th. Orozco, 33-3, won a UD in the 10th. Chris Van Eerden, 28-2, stopped him in the 2nd. Chris Algieri, 25-3, stopped him in the 4th. That Chris Algieri fight was back in 2021. Then the Chris Van Heeren fight was in 2022. Those were his last 2 stoppage victories. He looked great and he looked brutal in those 2 fights. He lived up to his name, the Destroyer. We know since then he had that suspension. He had the cloud around his name and around his brand for failing PED tests. He had the long onward public battle with the BBOC, the British Board of Boxing, their council, and then finally they cleared his name. Whatever you're going to say about Conor Benn, I feel whenever you have a stain of a failed test on your resume, it's hard to shake that. So people will always say, wow, it must have been true. He hasn't looked like the same guy since he got tested and he failed that test way back in 2021 and 2022. Say what you will, he's gone undefeated since up until his last fight against Chris Eubank Jr. He put his hand up. He wanted to fulfill his father's legacy. He chose to take this fight at 160 once again. We know the first fight, it didn't go his way. I want to talk a little bit about, though, if you look at that first fight and you talk about deep water moments, even though Benn lost the fight, I feel he put Eubank Jr. in the more precarious positions than Eubank Jr. put himself. I felt like Eubank Jr. was the one who was hurt more oftentimes than not than Conor Benn was. I feel for Conor Benn to be victorious in this matchup, he's going to have to manage his gas tank a little bit more. I want to see him make adjustments. I want to see him not headhunt as often as he did in the first fight, and I want to see him work the body, fight smarter. Eubank Jr. is an older guy. He's going to be the guy who cut more weight. You put a rehydration clause on him once again. Break the body, then go up top. I feel in terms of adjustments, it's Conor Benn who is the one who can make more of the adjustments if he wants things to go his way. We'll see if he does. We'll see if he's able to harbor and control and harness those emotions and fight a little bit of a more smarter fight. Right now, let's take a look at his opponent, Chris Eubank Jr., see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Jr. is 35-3. Of his 35 wins, 25 of them come by knockout. Of his 3 losses, he's been stopped once. Out of 1,925 fighters in the world at 160 pounds, he's ranked number 2. He carries into the ring a 71% career knockout to win ratio, and he's fought a career total of 246 pro rounds. The 36-year-old Brit is a 5'11" orthodox fighter with a 72-inch reach. He was born and raised in Sussex, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Conor Benn the first time, 23-0, won a UD in the 12th. Zarameta, 25-2, stopped him in the 7th. Liam Smith the second time, 33-3, stopped him in the 10th. Liam Smith the first time, 32-3, he got stopped in the 4th. Liam Williams, 23-3, he won a UD in the 12th. And the fight before that, he stopped Ajwan in the 5th round. This is a natural middleweight. This is the better boxer, in my opinion. He does things more technically on a more visceral approach, literally similar to how his father used to fight. He takes things as they come to him, and he uses his fight IQ generally to get the victory. He has a better jab. He's going to be the bigger guy. He's the more seasoned guy. He's been in there with the better composition. On paper, him coming off the first victory, he is the favorite for a reason. I feel, though, he shouldn't play the games that he played with Conor in the first fight. He shouldn't embark on this slugfest phone booth fight. Will he be able to control his emotions? Will he be able to have enough endurance to use the entire ring this time around, to use his jab from the outside and keep Conor off of him? This will be the narrative of the fight, I feel. Chris Eubank Jr.'s path to victory: use your jab, fight Conor Benn at mid-range on the outside, use the ring, make Conor come to you, counter him, and win on points. Conor Benn, how you get the victory this time around: you force Chris Eubank Jr. into a dogfight like you did the first time. You invest in the body, you break him down to the body, and then you finish up top. We'll see if both guys go about it this way. The stadium is going to be crazy. I assume the same exact energy will be like we saw in the first fight. We know Senior is going to be on deck. He surprised us the first fight by showing up. Those surprises won't be happening this time around because we'll expect them to be there. Guys, before I get into the current Las Vegas odds and give you my prediction, I want to remind everybody I do live streams every single day. In those streams, I give you guys over and unders, prop bets, long parlays, knockdown props. I give you guys my dogs of the week. In order to get all of those bets, hit the notification button, tune into the lives, also join the Discord, click the link that's pinned in the comment section below. It's a couple bucks a month. On these Stats Don't Lie videos, you only get my money line prediction. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. Currently on the money line, Chris Eubank Jr. is the favorite once again at $1.58. You put $100 on Chris to win, you get your money back plus $58. The draw is 14-1. Conor the Destroyer is $2.60 dog, meaning 100 on Conor to win. You get your money back plus $160. I think those odds are fair, especially what we saw with the last fight. I think those odds are fair with the fight being 7 months ago. The draw, 14-1. I know there's going to be some boys in the Discord playing that draw. I feel this time around, something that isn't sitting with me properly is that time in rest, the recovery. I don't like that that fight was 7 months ago. I don't like that it went 12 rounds in terms of Chris Eubank Jr.'s hopes this fight. Chris is going to be 37 soon. He's the older guy. He's the favorite here. He got hit a lot. He took a lot of damage. 7 months in the grand scheme of things at 36, 37 years old is not a lot of time to recover. We saw the footage of him in the hospital after the first fight. We know what's at stake. Legacy's at stake. You're giving me Conor Benn at plus money. I'm leaning into the dog. I'm hoping that Conor makes the adjustments I talked about. I'm hoping that he invests in the body. I'm hoping that he's able to control his emotions, and I'm hoping that he's able to break Chris Eubank down throughout the fight and manages his gas tank properly this time around. That is my pick. Upset of the week, dog of the week. You're giving me Conor Benn, the younger guy, even though he's a smaller guy, at plus money. I'm taking him. Guys, I know I picked Chris in the first fight. We hit on this first fight. I know the second time around I'm going against him, so this pick won't be as popular on my channel. But you know what I'm going to say. This is not an echo chamber. In the comments section below, I want to hear who you're going with. Is it going to be business as usual for Chris Eubank Jr.? Or are we going to see Conor Benn redeem himself and possibly set up the all-rare trilogy? Let me know. Leave all that in the comment section below. Also, guys, like I said, a lot of boxing this coming week. Rafa Espinoza is fighting. Lindolfo Delgado is fighting. This undercard is a banger at Tottenham, so stay tuned to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.